Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft tutorial by me, FoxyNoTail, here in a lava lake, watching 4,000 guardians rain from the sky. This guardian farm shouldn't look like this, but this is what happens if you AFK at it for too long. This guardian farm can and will break your world and your realms because it is too powerful. If you're interested in a guardian farm that gives you 40,000 drops an hour or 30 levels in 60 seconds, continue watching. But watch out, this farm can kill your world, so be careful. Watch to the end. It has been a year and a week since I first put out my Guardian Farm tutorial video, and this was the first video on YouTube that showed how Guardians spawn in these particular spawning spots. Now, that was actually in Minecraft Bedrock Edition 1.5. Things have changed a little bit since then, so today I'm going to go through what's changed and how to make this farm work in 1.12. So we'll be starting from the beginning on how to build it and going all the way through to the end, how to create a fully AFK-able prismarine farm and also an XP farm. Let's do this. So I've created this brand new world just for this tutorial. This is a brand new seeder world I've never played on before, and the first thing I'm going to do is find a guardian temple, or an ocean monument as they're known. And the way to do that on Bedrock Edition in creative mode is to do /locate monument, and that's going to give me some coordinates. The nearest monument is 568 by -136, so let's go there. And here we are, we have been TP'd directly to the ocean monument. Now, if you're doing this in survival, obviously you're not going to have that luxury. You are going to need to find one the old-fashioned way, or get a download of your world, or a download of your realm, so that you can use the locate command. Bear in mind, in order to make this farm, you are going to need a copy of the world in order to run command blocks on, in order to find out where the guardian spawning spot's on. If you can't get a copy of the world, or if you can't get the seed number from somebody of the world you're playing on, then you're not going to be able to do this. Step 2 in survival is to kill off the elder guardians. If you haven't already, they are going to cause you problems if you don't get rid of them, so you might want to get rid of them and maybe even do a little bit of a raid of the ocean monument to get whatever blocks and sponges you can get from there, and don't forget the gold as well. That's what these things are all about at the end of the day. So let's do that. And I'm obviously going to use cheats. I'm going to do /kill E type equals elder guardian, and that's going to get rid of those guys from me. Right, they're not going to be a problem anymore. Step 3 is to run a couple of command blocks, and this step is very important. Without this step, you're not going to be able to build the farm, which is why you need a copy of the world, or at least the seed, so that you can do this in creative mode. The first command block is going to find guardians, and it's going to place a concrete block wherever it finds one. So we've got this command here, execute @E type equals guardian ~, set block ~, concrete 0, and that basically says we're looking for guardians. Wherever the guardian is, the position of that, set a block or place a block at that exact position, and we're going to just use white concrete because that's nice and simple. The next command, which is a chain command block with a conditional statement, is kill the guardian. So basically, whenever it finds a guardian, it's then going to kill the guardian. Both of these are set to needs redstone, and we've got a lever here. But before we do that, there's another command we need to run first, and that is game rule do mob spawning false, and that's basically going to stop any mobs from spawning. Next, we're going to do kill @E type equals guardian. The reason for doing that is we don't want any guardians already swimming around in there, because that's going to mess up this command block. So now there should be no guardians. There shouldn't be anything able to spawn like guardians. The other thing we could do is we could do kill @E type equals not player, and that's going to basically kill everything in the ocean or around us, including items and things like that. That's just going to clear the entire thing, and now we shouldn't get anything spawning. So when we turn this command block on, nothing's going to happen straight away. Now if we put mob spawning back on, we should see guardians spawning. Game rule do mob spawning true. We'll turn that on, and you can see we got one straight away already there, and we should see that we get guardians spawning in a very, very particular pattern around this. There are 25 spawning spots in total around the ocean monument that guardians will spawn on. They won't spawn anywhere else, and those 25 spots are where we're going to be making our chambers with the Nether portal. As these guardians are spawning in, you might notice that some of these towers get longer. That's because as the game tries to spawn a guardian, it looks at this top block here, and it says, is this space blocked? If it is, let's look at the next block down. Is that space blocked? If it is, let's look at the next one down, and so on and so forth, until it finds a free space where it can spawn a guardian. If there's blocks in the way, it won't spawn one, and that is quite important later. Now you can see that almost all of the spaces are now filled in. We're just missing one over here. That should happen anytime soon. It is random how the guardians do spawn, so it does take a little while, but eventually we'll get that one there as well. Now, if you notice that things are taking a long time to spawn and the rates of your guardian spawns going down, that is probably because you're getting drowns and other things spawning in the area. We're going to get to that later on about having to spawn proof the area. But yeah, hopefully you'll eventually get the entire thing filled in. It is taking its time though today. There we go, we got the last one done. So now we can turn mob spawning back off if we want to, or we can turn these command blocks off just to stop that concrete happening. So the very center spawning spot is right here, which seems to be in line with the front of the Guardian Farm. I don't know if that's the same on every single ocean monument, but I've made a map, and if we look at this, it is in the southeast corner. So the southeast corner of this thing as the first spot. And from that, if we go out 15 blocks, we then get to the next spawning spot. 9 blocks after that, we get to the last one. Now, if we go west, it's 15 blocks to the first one, and then 10 blocks to the last one. So it's slightly different. That one was 9 on the east and 10 on the left. So it's not quite centered, this thing, because it does have a 2 wide middle. Same thing if we go north and south. Let's do that. 15 to the first one, and then 9 to the second in the south direction. And this way we've got 15 to the first, and then 10 to the second in the north direction. So once you've done this, you then need to work out what the coordinates of every single one of these spots are. And the easiest way to do that is basically to look at the X and Y position. So we can take 594, or for every single one of these in this row is going to start with 594, and then we just need what the Z value is. So we've got -164, we've got -152, we've got -136, and so on and so forth. And we know those values are also going to work that way. So we actually only need a couple of values here. We need 594, we need 585, we need 568, we need 552, and we need 541 in the X values, and in the Z values we need the ones that are this way. Now that's going to be different for every single monument in every single world on every single seed, so don't copy these coordinates exactly. Do this for yourself. If you can't get the command blocks, then at least measure this out from that block on the monument facing in the right direction. You should be somewhere near. But if this farm isn't exactly built to the exact block, it won't work at all. It's got to be to the block. If you're one block off, the whole thing won't work. So the next thing to do is go into your survival version of the world, or your realm, or whatever you're going to build this for in survival, and then go and mark out each one of these spots. And I would recommend that you would mark them out from the very surface of the water with glass. And the reason that you should use glass is that guardians won't spawn inside of glass, whereas guardians will spawn inside of prismarine, and they will potentially spawn inside of other spawning blocks. So grab yourself a whole ton of glass, and then once you've got that glass, what you then need to do is go on each pillar all the way down from the top of the ocean all the way down to the ocean floor. Now at this point here, your ocean monument may well be in the way. You're going to have to go through it and put glass all the way down to where below the very lowest point of the temple, and that is to make sure that nothing spawns underneath that. Then at the very lowest point where your glass is, grab a slab and put a slab there, and that will stop fish and things being able to spawn in that column as well. So you need to do that for every single column. The reason we're doing this is we're going to prevent guardians from spawning underneath the spawning spaces. This farm is going to be on and offable, because if we leave it on, it will break realms, it will cause so much lag, it will just lag the entire world out, you'll never be able to get back on it again. So we need to do this as a precaution. So for every single one of these, we're going to do basically a row of glass from the surface all the way down to the lowest point below the monument. So once you've done that, you should be able to kill all the guardians, and no more should spawn, because all of their spawning spaces are taken up. So let's just make sure that's going to work. So I've done a kill command, and I'm seeing no guardians. Now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to create another command block. Now you don't need to do this in your world, but I'm going to do this just for the sake of mine, just to make sure that all the guardians are gone. So I've got a command here, execute @e type equals guardian ~, say hi. So what this is going to do is, if it actually detects a guardian has spawned, it's going to say hi on my screen, so I know one has spawned. Now technically, because we've blocked all of the available spawning spaces for guardians, they shouldn't spawn. in previous versions to 1.12, Guardians could spawn in air. They could also spawn on the prismarine below. So I might, because of how the game works, we might see a couple of Guardians spawn somewhere on the temple, but they shouldn't. If they do, and you're finding that's an issue, then I would recommend just removing the temple. But at the moment on 1.12, we don't actually need to remove the temple in order for this farm to work. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create these spawning spaces, and basically all this is a standard nether portal with a couple of bits of prismarine next to the bottom of it on this side of the portal. Then we're going to get a dispenser which is going to have a bucket of water in it, a few bits of glass and some slabs on the top of the nether portal. Now these don't have to be prismarine slabs, I've just done that so it all matches. They can be any type of slabs, and that's just going to stop things spawning on the nether portals, things like hostile mobs, because any hostile mobs in the area are going to reduce your rates. We'll get to that later. So I'm going to start on this center pillar here. I'm going to break the glass until my feet are on Y61, and then I'm going to break that one there. I'm going to put some prismarine there. Now I've already got a piece of prismarine next to that, so I don't need to worry about that. Assuming I've got my orientation correct, which I might not have done, I've got to check that in a minute, then this should work. But before I do anything else, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to see if a guardian will spawn on there. So let's move away from that and let's just check. And what we're looking for is the guardian spawning right on the edge of this block here. We want the guardians don't spawn in the center of a block anymore. They now spawn right on the corner, and we want to see them spawning on this corner. If they spawn on this corner, or that corner, then we need to move our block. So we're going to come up here and we're going to make sure the guardians actually spawn in the right place. Now did you see that? They actually spawned on this bottom corner here. So we need to get rid of those, and we need to change this then. The whole farm needs to be the other way around, so we actually want that prismarine on that side. So let's get rid of those guys. So we got our two pieces of prismarine in front of that, on the corner that they spawned on. Bear in mind they spawned here. We're going to put the nether portal blocks there. So grab yourself a bit of glass to make this easy. Put some glass there. Build your nether portal up like that, so 3 up each side. Put your slabs on the corners, and then your 2 over there, and then your slabs on the top. And then all we're going to do with the glass is we're going to come out one behind it. We're going to go up like that. We're going to go up the sides there. We're going to go up the sides there. And we're going to go behind it as well like this, just to block that off. Then you can use a sponge if you've got one to clear that out like that, or you can just fill blocks with the water. Get yourself your dispenser, pop that there, and put your bucket of water in it. We are not going to fill these with water yet because we will lag out the world or the server. We're going to leave these completely waterless for now, and we're going to light the nether portal. That is it. All we got to do then is put our bucket of water inside the dispenser, and that's ready to go once we've connected the redstone. So that is our portal design in place. All we got to do now is basically do that 24 more times, which does take a while in survival. Okay, assuming I've done my commands correctly, I've now cloned those onto all 25 of the spawning spots. They should be all nicely lined up. They should be at the same Y value, and they should work if I was to turn all of the dispensers on and actually fill them up with water, which I'm tempted to do, but I don't really want to lag out this world right now. So let's move on to the next step. So the next thing we're going to need to do in order to get this farm to work is to connect a redstone line, and what we're going to do is we're going to come to our very center portal, put a concrete block or any type of solid block underneath that dispenser and a piece of glass underneath that, and then we're just going to run the glass back from that all the way along to the very end of our system here, and we're going to put another solid block there and another solid block there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have repeaters and solid blocks with slabs on in a line like this all the way back. The advantage of Bedrock Edition here is that we can place repeaters underwater and they will work perfectly well. Same thing here, so let's just go back all the way until we get to the center, and we're not going to worry about going too close to the center because we're going to have redstone coming down from there. Once you've done one side, do exactly the same thing going out of another side. Now, it's important that these blocks that I'm placing here are glass again. The reason that they need to be glass is that we do not want drowns spawning on them. If you was to do this row with solid blocks like concrete and put repeaters on it, then you would probably get drowns spawning on there. I'm not 100% sure if drowns or hostile mobs do spawn on repeaters, but I bet they do. This is Bedrock Edition of the game. Things are weird with spawning, so there's no guarantees that that wouldn't happen. Now on this particular one, we've got an odd gap, so we need to have 2 repeaters next to each other there. That's absolutely fine. Yes, this is relatively expensive in terms of needing a lot of repeaters, but, you know, it's worth it in the end. The other thing you could do is create airtight tunnels and have redstone running along them. That's absolutely fine if you want to do it that way. It really doesn't matter, but this is the cheapest and easiest way of doing it that I've found. Once we've done that on that row, we're going to do exactly the same thing on all the other rows as well. Now, I will say while I'm placing in all these redstone components, it really doesn't matter how you connect the redstone in this, as long as you do connect this up to an on and off system. You need this system to be able to turn off, because we are going to get so many guardians going through into the nether that when you go through to the nether, if you haven't got someone in there loading the other side and killing those guardians, you're going to literally break the world. And me and Slack actually did this on Truly Bedrock the other day, and we did completely crash the world, and it took us a long time to get it fixed. So make sure that you do this properly. Make sure you wire this up. Doesn't matter how you do it, but make sure it is on and offable, or at least make sure you've got a backup before you start. The reason we're using solid blocks in between the repeaters rather than glass blocks is that glass blocks don't actually carry a redstone signal, in case you're wondering, which is why we've got to slab them. We need a solid block in order to actually pass through the redstone signal that we can fire the dispensers from. Okay, once you've got all of your redstone lines in going horizontally like that, then we need to connect them the other way so that they're all connected together and create an on and off system from our AFK platform, which is very easy. And we're going to come in from our center portal just to the side of it like this. We're going to come in from there, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. Run a line of glass blocks all the way back from the center point all the way back to our very last row there, and exactly the same thing again, blocks with repeaters in between, with the redstone facing away from the center so it will travel to the outside. And then we go the other way, and bear in mind, because of the odd length of this, we are going to have a point there where we've got 2 repeaters next to each other, which is absolutely fine. It won't cause any problems at all. Make sure you've got all your slabs in place, and now that's everything connected. Now all we need is the on-off system from our AFK platform. So we're going to come down to this block here, and we're basically going to activate that with a redstone block. So I'm going to place a block there. I'm going to put a redstone block above it, and I'm going to break that block. Then I'm going to put on some slime blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then above that one, we want a sticky piston. So let's put a couple of temporary blocks there. Let's stick a sticky piston there. Then we want another temporary block above that piston with another redstone block there above it. Break that block, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another couple of temporary blocks, another sticky piston just there like that. And then we're pretty much at our platform. Now our platform's probably a bit high. We could actually probably go down to, I think it's about 88 we can go down to without affecting anything. So in fact, if we did that and put our button there on 87, we don't need any more pistons and things like that. We can actually use this as our AFK point. Now when I press that button, what's going to happen is those slime blocks are going to extend, that redstone block's going to hit that piston, those slime blocks are going to extend, that redstone block is going to fire all of that, and all of the dispensers should activate, meaning we'll get some guardians in the nether. So let's just go through to the nether and see what's going to happen before we do that. And we want our nether portal to be centered on this one here. So before we do that, let's take the coordinates of this portal and then go through. In order for our portal to link properly, we actually want it at 71 by -17, which is over in this direction. So we're going to have to do a little bit of digging in order to get that right, and it does need to be right. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to sync up other portals around it. We need all of those portals to sync up to the exact same one. So there we go. 71 is there, and -17 is there. So then we can build our portal basically just there like that. Now we need to block up behind the portal and around it as well. Don't use glass, because the guardians will spawn into the glass from the portal, and they won't. Yeah, basically they'll disappear. So let's do that. Let's get rid of that portal there. Let's get our flint and steel. Like that portal, that should sync up with our center portal there. And if you don't know how to link portals, you get the coordinates of the overworld, divide them by 8. Don't worry about the Y value, the center one, just the X and the Z values, and build your portal there. So if we go through, we should end up in the center one here, which we have done, which is great. Now then, what we need to do is create a killing system in here, so when we turn on the actual guardian spawning spots, we've got something that's going to kill the guardians, and they're not all just going to lag out the nether. So let's get some lava. Let's put a little window in just down here, and let's get Chuck in the game, my second account or my camera account, and let's watch this from both points of view. Okay, we've got Chuck here. He is in position. I'm going to go back into the overworld and make sure this thing actually works. Now, I'm not going to expect rates to be particularly fantastic right now because we've done no perimeter work. We've done no mob despawning stuff around the area, so it's probably not going to be great. And what you might find with this particular design, although this design is instant, this design is the fastest one you can do because as the Guardians spawn, they instantly go through to the Nether because they're actually spawning half in the portal. You do occasionally get pigment in these portal blocks, and you do need to get rid of them from time to time, but you shouldn't get too many. So let's go up here, let's press the button and see what happens. Let's do this. You should see all of the redstone activating. We should see that all of the dispensers have fired, and they haven't because I'm an idiot. But we can see on Chuck's screen that Guardians are going absolutely mental, and I've only actually lit up half of the farm. So now I need to disconnect it all again. Oh my goodness me, and start again. Sorry, Chuck. Sorry. My bad. I made a boo-boo with the redstone, okay? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. The accident. Bearing in mind, I'm actually also here in the way. Things will not be spawning because I'm actually in the way. That's ridiculous how many Guardians we're getting from this. So let's go back up to the AFK platform. Let's press the button again to disable it. That should stop Guardians spawning. All of the water should have disappeared from each one. And now I connect the rest of the portals, and then we can start it again and actually use the full farm rather than just half the farm and see what sort of rates we're getting. But that was insane. That was absolutely insane looking at Juck's screen then. Bearing in mind, I've not done any mob spawning stuff. I've done no cave light or anything like that. That was crazy. Right, let's do this again. Are you ready? On your marks, get set, go! And watching Chuck's screen. Here come the Guardians. It is raining Guardians. It is absolutely raining Guardians. It is non-stop raining Guardians. So there we go. That is basically how to build it. So now what we need to do is work on an AFK killing station and also an XP station as well. Okay, before we move on to the next section, I've just noticed that my little command block that checks for loose Guardians had a spelling error in it, so that wasn't going to work. So let's just put that back how it was, make sure that's actually running, which it is, and make sure that it is actually going to find Guardians. So we should actually see that thing kicking in once we turn the redstone on, because the Guardians will appear briefly. There we go, look. So the Guardians are there while the farm is running. If we turn the farm off like that, we should see that disappear as the Guardians all start dying in the Nether. Speaking of Nether, what we're going to do now is go back there and actually make our killing platform. So let's come through and let's sort all of this out. So we can get rid of our little temporary killing station there. We probably want to get rid of that pigman if we can, because he's right in our way. Can you move out the way, please, pigman? Because I need to get rid of that lava there. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. So now what we need to do is create a big long drop all the way down from there, all the way, basically a long way down. So I'm going to block this up back with netherrack as well. You can make this nice and pretty in your world. Use whatever blocks you want. I'm just going to do this nice and dirty for this tutorial. Next thing I'm going to do down here is I am going to put a couple of signs there like that and a couple of signs there like that. And I'm going to grab a bucket of lava. And I'm basically just going to create a lava blade. So as the Guardians fall out of that, they're going to fall through this lava and they're going to take damage. Now, if I put more lava in, they're going to get burnt quicker, but they're also going to try and swim in it, which will reduce their fall damage. So we want that one layer thick at the top and then a drop height down here. So now we've got to test out how far they actually need to drop down before they'll die. So let's make this tube go all the way down. Okay, so our portal is currently at y equals 118. I've got a lava blade one block down from that, and I've created a fall that goes all the way down to y equals 79, which is a 39 block drop. Now that is just enough to instantly kill all of the Guardians that fall down. So that is going to be our AFK platform. That's where we're going to have that set up. Now, higher up is where we're going to have the XP platform, because we don't actually want them to die for the XP one. We want to kill them ourselves. And the simplest thing to do at this point here is literally to get rid of those and to put hoppers in. Now, I'm going to have two hoppers facing that way, and I'm going to have two hoppers facing that way, and I'm going to have hoppers underneath those. Bearing in mind, these chests are going to fill up ridiculously quickly. When you build this in your own world, you're going to need a lot more chests. And you won't be able to run this for long periods of time. If you run this for hours and hours, it will back up very, very quickly, because the Guardians create more items than the hoppers can actually handle. So unless you know of a really fast system to get the items away, such maybe hopper minecarts, but then they've still got to transfer through a normal hopper to get those into a chest. It's going to be slow. So let's put those there like that. All those are currently empty, so this would be a good point to actually do a rate test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little platform here for me to stand on. I'm going to then run this thing for 5 minutes and see what we get after 5 minutes. And bearing in mind, a lot of stuff will be backing up at the top after that time. Okay, we're just over halfway through the rate test here, and I can see that items are already backing up on the hoppers. They're not all making it in, which is a good thing in terms of the fact that how fast this is, but it's a bad thing, in fact, in terms of how much we can AFK or how long we can AFK for. And still, bear in mind, I've done no cave lighting or anything around this, so this is really, really good, considering this is just genuine survival type rate test. Okay, the rate test is over in 3, 2, 1, stop. Now, we will get a few guardians still pouring down. I have turned the redstone off at the top with Chuck's account, but we'll get the last few just dribbling through, which all counts because they're part of the original 5 minutes. And you can see there, oh, one survived somehow, but we've got a lot of items in those hoppers there. So let's pick those up so that we don't lose any. Wow, that's a lot there. Let's fill up these chests and see what we got all together. Wow, that guy's not even a one-hit kill. He's like fully not even, yeah, wow. Okay, I've organised everything into these chests like so. We got 764 raw cod from that, 792 prismarine crystals, and we got 1,973 prismarine shards. Bearing in mind that's 5 minutes with no mob spawning stuff, with no perimeter, with no slabbing, with no cave lighting. That works out at 3,529 items per 5 minutes, which is 42.3 thousand items per hour, which is 661 stacks per hour, which works out at almost 25 shulker boxes worth of drops per hour. Now, we're not really interested in the fish. We only really want the prismarine shards and the crystals, but that is insane. That's absolutely ridiculous. And let's now do the XP section for this. Okay, doing a little bit of testing, I've managed to determine that the best point for our AFK platform is going to be here at y equals 94, which is 24 blocks down from our nether portal. We're going to break that glass there. We're going to break these bits of glass here, those bits of glass there, those two there, those two there, those two there, and we're actually going to put another couple of bits of glass back there like that. On those bits of glass, we're going to stick a couple of sticky pistons like that, a couple more sticky pistons like that, and we need to get hoppers facing into these blocks here. So we're going to put a couple of temporary blocks there, we're going to put a hopper there and there. So those hoppers are facing into that piece of glass, same thing there and there, they're facing into that piece of glass. Now we want to get a chest, we're going to stick that chest there, and then we're going to put glass above those hoppers, like that, the same thing there, like that. Then we're going to get a stair like that, another stair over this side like that, and we're going to get a couple of trapdoors and just put them on that chest like that. Then we want some slabs, and we want to put the slabs just along the bottom line of that chest there, and that's where we're going to stand and actually get the guardians. Now what we need to do is actually create a way to power this thing. So the easiest way to do that would be redstone dust along the top of those hoppers there, coming round the back like that. Then all we need to do is pop a block there, and we put a lever on that, and then we can activate that. That's going to push the hoppers in. That's going to mean the guardians are going to fall on the hoppers. So when we flick the lever, the hoppers get pushed in. They're now pointing into that chest. The guardians will fall down. They'll stay alive. We'll kill them through this hole here. Their items will go into that chest. And then if we want to put it into the normal AFK mode where we don't have to kill them ourselves, we flick that lever back. That will pull the hoppers away and the guardians can fall back through. The only other thing I would recommend doing at this point is adding in a beacon with regeneration and resistance. Okay, so in order to get our beacon to work in the nether, what we need to do is actually come up straight above it and break blocks all the way up to bedrock. Bedrock is actually classed as a transparent block, which will allow light to shine through it, and it will allow our beacon to work. So now we've got rid of that, our beacon beam should activate any second now. Oh no, there's more. There we go. There was netherrack hiding behind that piece of bedrock. So there we go. We got a beacon in the nether, and now we've got regeneration and resistance, which should allow us to not take too much damage. Then what you're going to want is a sword. Now I would recommend a looting 3 sword with mending, or if you want to do this another way, you can use splash potions of harming. Okay, so now I'm in survival. I should be able to kill these guys and get plenty of XP. Now, if I kill them too quickly, I'm going to get the thorns damage before I get healed by the beacon. So let's stick on a little bit of armor like that, and let's whack away and let's get plenty of XP. I believe, be able to open those trapdoors without them coming out, but I don't dare do that at the minute, so I'm just going to stand close and kill those guys like so. If you haven't got all day to stand there with a sword, you can throw a splash potion of harming at them, do it that way, and then you can just open that and collect all of the XP. Now, I believe they shouldn't actually be able to get through that gap there, but it is worth testing, and I'm not actually picking up the XP that's in the hoppers there, so we might want to do something maybe with a bit of carpet. Okay, so just changing this design ever so slightly. If we put trapdoors on top of the hoppers and another row of sticky pistons like that, we should now be able to make it so that XP doesn't fall and get stuck in the hoppers. So let's grab our stairs again. And again, you don't have to use stairs here. We could use slabs like that, and we could put slabs higher up there. I like to use stairs because I just feel that there's less chance of the Guardians actually escaping through there like that. There we go. And let's stick a block there as well, and a block there as well, so I feel nice and safe. Let's turn this thing back on and see what happens. There we go. I've also had to move the redstone slightly to make sure all 4 of those pistons activate. Now, they are all... oh, they're not all activated on this side. Let's do the same thing again there. So instead of running the redstone along the top of the pistons, we're just going to run them along the side like that. There we go. That should work nicely. Let's turn the farm on for a few seconds. Let's let this thing fill up with guardians and let's go ham. Okay, I've run this for literally 10 seconds and I've got lots of guardians in there. Some of them are actually dying, so we might actually want to move this thing a couple of blocks up as well. Let's throw in our potion there, and there we go. Look at that. We get all of the XP out. So let's actually try that in survival. Right, I've taken away all my XP. I've run this farm for literally 20 seconds. I've counted it running for 20 seconds. I'm going to throw in this bottle of XP and see what we get. What do we get in terms of levels? There we go, 20 levels in 20 seconds. That's pretty good. Let's see what we get after a minute. Now, watching this, a lot of them are actually dying, so I might stick a couple of slabs there underneath, but this is absolutely ridiculous how many are coming through here. We're at 40 seconds at the moment. And it's insane. Look at that. Look how many guardians we've got. This is ridiculous. 59, 60. I've stopped the farm. So let's throw our splash potion and see what we get. And bearing in mind, we still don't have a perimeter on this. This is just natural. Nothing, no command blocks, no nothing stopping anything spawning. We are in survival mode. 3, 2, 1, go. Whoa. Let's see what we got from that. Wow. 32 levels in 1 minute. That's quite impressive, and I would guess this chest probably got quite a few items in it now. Yeah, it has. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to replace those trapdoors with slabs and see if we still get the same number of guardians actually dying. So let's turn the farm on. I'm not really bothered about actually using this thing right now. I just want to make sure they're not all going to instantly die when they hit the bottom. Here they come. There we go. They're surviving. Right, let's do this test again. Oh, I think we lost one there. Oh, we are still losing a couple. So we do probably want to build this just a little bit higher up then. And there we go, kill all of those and many, many XP. This thing is amazing. Okay, so that's the XP platform done. We've got the AFK section done. They're not very tidy, but this is just a tutorial. It really doesn't matter. Let's now go and look at how we improve the rates of this farm. Now, bearing in mind, I don't think we need to improve the rates of this particular one because it's been working very well. But what you might want to do in your world, if you're finding things aren't spawning, bearing in mind, I've got this world always set to day. So we're not hitting nighttime. We're not getting things spawning on these islands over here. We're not getting things spawning in the ocean apart from drowns. What you really do need to do is slab out an entire perimeter around this thing, including inside and outside of the monument. You need to go underground and light up all of your caves, because if you don't, it will stop dead. Now, I'm actually recording this video after me and Slack have already built one on Truly Bedrock, but that video's not coming out for a while yet. The one we built is a lot slower than this because there are a lot of things spawning around it. So we've started building this perimeter, we've started slabbing out the ocean, and we've started cave lighting it. It has seriously improved things, but it's still not anywhere near these rates at the moment. So that is a definite must to do so. If you don't know what a perimeter is, it's basically a 9x9 chunk area around the furthest point that a mob can spawn. So if you come over here, we say a guardian can spawn on this block of prismarine. That's the furthest point a guardian can spawn from this. So we actually need to go out 4 chunks in that direction, including this chunk, 4 chunks in that direction, including that chunk, and slab out that. So a 9x9 around each one of those spawning areas. So altogether, you're going to have probably around about 12 chunks in either direction, something like that for a full perimeter, which is a lot of area to slap, I do realise, but it will make a big difference. Also, like I say, cave lighting is really important as well, because hostile mobs will take up the cap from the Guardians. If you've got too many hostile mobs, you'll get no Guardians spawning, which we can probably prove, actually. Okay, I've got two little cages here. One has got no roof on it, it's got 8 Guardians in, and one has got a roof on it, it's got 8 Guardians in. These are classed as surface spawns because there's no roof. These ones are classed as cave spawns because they've got a roof. If we turn this farm on and look at Chuck's screen, who is waiting in the Nether, we'll see that absolutely no Guardians will appear whatsoever down there. Now, if we get rid of the surface spawn creepers, these guys here, oh dear, we've lost a couple of them. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Swim and let me kill you. There we go. Let's get rid of those. You'll still see that there are absolutely no spawns on the Guardian Farm. So all it takes to completely stop this farm working is 8 mobs or 8 hostile mobs of any type in a cave. So if I take the roof off this thing and actually kill those guys as well, we should then get Guardians coming through. Let's get rid of those ones there. And the farm should start working again. There we go. Instantly, as soon as those guys are gone, the Guardians are filling in. Let's put a couple more guys back in here again. In fact, let's just put the surface ones in and see if that makes any difference. Let's fill this thing back up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's kill all of the Guardians that are in the Nether. And yeah, they are still raining down in the Nether. So surface spawns make no difference. So anything on the land over there is not going to make any difference. Anything over there is not going to make any difference. But things underground, things in caves are going to make a big difference. So let's put some more back in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And put the lid back on. And there we go. The Guardians have completely stopped spawning in the Nether now. They are not spawning anymore. So that's why cave lighting is really, really important. Alright, so the next test I want to do is drowned. So drowned down here. At the moment the Guardian Farm is Radiant Guardians. If I absolutely just spam a load of drowns around here, are these going to have an effect on the farm? Do we actually need to slab this out, or is that going to be okay? Let's clear all the Guardians out and let's see. No Guardians are spawning now because there are drowns down under the water. So we do need to get rid of the drowns as well. If I kill those off, the Guardians should start spawning in again, which they are doing. There we go. They're coming straight back through again. So it really does make a big difference. Make sure you clear your caves and slab your ocean to get the full rates out of this thing. Right, okay, I've run this farm for exactly 1 minute. There's no one loading up the Nether, which means all of those Guardians have gone straight into the Nether. But because this is Bedrock Edition, when you send something through a portal, it doesn't load up the Nether side of things and process it, it just waits. So when I go into the Nether now, there's going to be a large number of Guardians just sitting there waiting to load in, and then they're going to go through the lava blade and die. So if there's enough, it can completely lag out a realm, it can completely break a single player world. Bearing in mind I've only done that for a minute, I would expect to get a little bit of frame rate issue, but probably not completely destroy the world. So let's go through and see what happens. And there we go, there we go, huge frame rate issues, but they're all slowly coming through. Can you see they're jerking their way through that portal, finally coming through, and then going down to their doom. Now they're actually all hanging up in this bit because I've still got the XP mode on, so let's turn that off, let's let them all go through and die. Okay, so I'm currently AFK at this farm with it running. There's no one in the Nether, and I've uploaded it to a realm. You can see by the reduced render distance that we're on a realm. The reason I've done that is that I want to show you how easy it is to break a realm. So I'm just going to literally AFK here for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, see what happens when I go through. And now I already know when I go through the Nether, it's going to take forever to load. Whether or not I actually get in or whether it'll crash, I don't know. It depends how good this particular realm is. Slack Lizard and I did this by mistake on the Truly Bedrock realm the other day. We didn't think things were spawning because you can see how fast they actually spawn. They're only there for a split second. We didn't actually think anything was spawning, so we were building this farm with the farm active. We were working on slabbing the ocean. We were only doing it for 10 minutes, and then we went into the Nether. The game just froze. If you AFK here and you've got someone else AFK in the Nether, that's fine. But if that person in the Nether gets kicked for whatever reason, let's say they lose connection or they turn their computer off or something happens to them, and the person in the overworld is still AFK, it is going to completely and utterly break the farm. So what I would suggest is, rather than doing that, build a timer onto this circuit here so that it will only run for maybe a minute or two maximum, so that if anything happens to the person in the nether, then yeah, then you've got a fail-safe. Okay, it's now been running for 5 minutes. I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to hop through into the nether and I'm going to see what happens. So let's just go through this one, and I'm expecting it to take a very, very long time to load. Let's start a stopwatch. I heard a ghast, but I can't see anything. No sign of any guardians yet. Okay, we've now been staring at this same screen for over a minute and nothing's happened. I've got no sounds to say anything's going on, nothing going on. I'm not getting a little icon to say it's loading. Nothing's happened. And now we're at 2 minutes and nothing else has happened. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close Minecraft. I'm going to open it again. I'm going to download the realm. And I'm going to use MC Toolgest to open it up and see if we can see how many guardians are actually in there. If I do a search for guardians in the nether, that's going to list that many. It's found 4,000 guardians are currently in the nether. 4,000 guardians from 5 minutes of AFKing. That is a big problem if you don't have someone in the nether. So I can't get back in there now. So let's switch over to Chuck's computer. So let's log in with Chuck. Chuck should still be swimming around in the lava lake at the moment if everything's gone right, because that's where I logged him out. He is in creative, so he shouldn't be burning. Now, his screen is currently building terrain. Oh, there we go. We're 47 seconds in, and he is in a lava lake, and frames are going very slowly. Let's put him in so I can actually see what's going on and try and fly out of here if we can. Please. Are we sinking or are we going up? I don't know. We're sinking at the minute. Oh no, we are going up. Come on, fly. Fly. Here we go. Look, whoa, there are guardians everywhere. There are, look, whoa. Okay, so the guardians have somehow escaped from their glassy temple of doom, and they are literally everywhere. I really hope this is coming out in the recording. I'm sorry for the jittering. That is how fast it's currently going, and I am back in lava somehow. Have I flown into a lava pillar? Oh, and I'm back in the water. I don't want to be in the water. Not in the water, I'm lava. Fly. That is absolutely crazy. It is raining guardians. It is raining 4,000 guardians. Fortunately, because we're over a lava lake, they will all fall into the lava and burn. But yeah, this is just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, I'm getting some frames back now. Please let me fly. Please. There we go. There we go. Look, they're coming. They're coming. Slowly, slowly coming. I can't actually... There we go. Now I can fly. 4,000 guardians raining down from the mountains. Oh dear. So this is why you should not run this thing. Look at that. A sea of guardians. Yeah, don't run this thing unless you've got people in both areas or you've got a timer. Because those guys are not going anywhere. Those guys are not going anywhere at all. That is absolutely ridiculous. Why are they over there, though? That's the question. They should be over here. Somehow they've ended up over there. I don't know how they've ended up over there. It completely beats me, but there we go. So there we go. That just goes to show that even without any cave lighting, without any ocean slabbing, it is possible for this farm to completely destroy your world within 5 minutes. So just be careful with it, okay? If you're going to build this thing, use it sensibly, make a timer, only run it for a few seconds at a time, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, or make sure that you've got both people online at the same time if you're going to dual AFK this thing. The only other thing you might want to consider is adding another nether portal somewhere and linking it up that doesn't interfere with these, so you can get in and out of the nether easier. And that is really just about it. So I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do please leave a like. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.